Can Cillian Murphy really be the next Bond? That's the question I'm asking. Why am I asking this? Why does it seem as though every 2 to 3 weeks I start speaking about James Bond again? Well, we can blame this geezer on Instagram, on the old Insta, on the gram, Dark Matter in Cop, because this guy has put together one of the most impressive bits of sort of fan art, if you like, concept art that I've seen in many a year. And it really has changed my opinion completely on whether I want to see Cillian Murphy playing James Bond. In my mind, I'm a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to Bond. I have to stress I'm not a fucking James Bond fanatic by any means. I'm aware of the franchise. I've seen some of the Connery ones. I watched Pierce Brosnan as a young kid. And also I've seen the Daniel Craig movies up until recent days. But there's a whole generation, fucking decades worth of Bond movies that I wasn't aware of. I've still not seen. So I'm not the biggest Bond fanatic. But I'm always of the mindset that Bond should be British. I don't give a fuck what his ethnicity is within that, what his sexuality is. Obviously it has to be a male because it's James Bond. You can't have a fucking female James Bond. You could these days, but for me it has to be a male. But I was always of the mindset it should be a British male, or someone who's really good at doing British accents, portraying it. I've never been one for thinking Australian, I don't know, American, Irish. It's not really been something that I've looked for in James Bond. I've been looking for sort of Scottish, English, British. Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, the Scottish guy, I always forget his name, Sam Heughan or something like that. These are the guys that have been on my sort of radar for James Bond over the last couple of years since the whole replacing of Daniel Craig became a thing. I kind of ruled Cillian out because I thought he's Irish. He's a good Irish man. He's from, I think, Cork. Might be from Dublin. I don't know. I think he's from Cork though. County Cork, which is where my father's side of the family are from. From Cork, in County Cork. So I never really looked at him as being a potential Bond. He's a little bit short for Bond as well. I mean, Daniel Craig was getting tanned at 5'10ish, 5'11ish for being too short. I think he was slipping a cheeky little lift into the shoes for the role. Prior to that, you had 6 foot plus guys like Connery and Pierce Brosnan portraying the character. Also, we're going off the beaten path with the looks for Daniel Craig as well. The fair hair, the blonde eye, the blue eyes. Bond has usually been a dark-haired, tall geezer, British geezer. So Murphy's a little bit on the short side, stature-wise and in real height, to potentially be James Bond. But we've got camera tricks and we can obviously cast short arses to play the villain next to him. So it's not much of an issue. But look, I digress. I'll get into why I'm speaking about it. Just look at that. Just look at that image. Oh my days. Is that not something? Just take that in, feast upon that. Marinade in that image. Look at the font. Look at this poster. What a job Dark Matter Inc. Corp has done here. Cillian Murphy, top billing, 007, James Bond. Look at him in that suit. I know it's photoshopped, but does he not just look tremendous? Does he not? Guy's still got kind of boyish looks, but he's rugged and he's been round the block. He's got the experience to play James Bond. I'm now in the Cillian Murphy fucking bus for James Bond. Look at that. Is that not something? And see that down below there, a film by Christopher Nolan. That's something I want to see happening. That was talked about maybe a year ago. The idea was being floated that Chris Nolan may be coming in to direct the next Bond movie, and indeed maybe a couple of Bond movies. Wouldn't that be something? Chris Nolan and I'm bringing in Cillian Murphy to play 007. You can just imagine it just now, how good it will be written. How good the sort of cinematic, the practical effects, how good that movie will look. The atmosphere and the enjoyableness of being on the set. Because this is something that resonates with every Nolan movie. The cast love working for him. They love going to the set every day, interacting with physical objects, being in locations, no green screen. They've not even got fucking seats, they don't care. They love standing up. The energy remains high. They love the guy. Everyone loves Nolan that works with Nolan. Cillian Murphy's worked with him. And he's, of course, played the lead in Oppenheimer. So he's now sort of got over that hurdle. He's led a Nolan movie. And we know Nolan likes to utilise actors again and again. Will Chris Nolan direct the next James Bond movie? I'd suggest highly unlikely. Because the guy is very original in his thinking, and he does like to bring out original concepts now. I know he did the Dark Knight trilogy, but that was a one-off, I always feel. And it is over a decade ago now. He's not really did that since. He's doing original concepts. He's tapping into historical stuff. He's still doing his sort of sci-fi shit, like with Tenet. Would he be interested in coming into James Bond? Well, he's an Englishman, and he's a huge fan of film. And I imagine he's a big fan of the Bond franchise on some level. I can't imagine an Englishman being offered the James Bond franchise, be it for one movie, two movies, and knocking it back. And he's still a young guy, Chris Nolan. He's not fucking ancient by any means. He's got a lot of longevity as a director. He's not tapering off in his ability. He might take it. I think it's unlikely, but he might. And I can't think of a better person now than Cillian Murphy after seeing that image. It is just incredible. Look at the blue eyes. Look at the jaw. The chiseled cheeks. The hair. The suit, man. The cufflinks. Everything. The bow tie. And we know Cillian can do accents. He can do them very fucking well. Hell, he played a Brummie for long enough in Peaky Blinders. So if he has to be English, I'm sure Cillian can do an English accent. I'm all aboard the Cillian Murphy train now. Can Cillian Murphy really be in the next Bond? For me, he can. Absolutely. He can be the next James Bond. And in fact, I now want Nolan to do it, and I want Cillian to be the Bond. So I've went full circle. Shove Sam Heughan. Shove all the other geezers. Sean Reggie Page, Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Shove them all, man. Get Cillian in. That's what I want to see.